Okay, boys and girls, today you are doing lesson 15-3 is to measure with unit angles. And you can use angles that you know to measure angles that you don't know. So the angles that you do know were the angles that I taught you yesterday in 15-2. For instance, you know a right angle is 90 degrees. You know acute is between 1 and 89. You know obtuse is between 91 and 179, and you know that a straight angle is 180. So you know those. Okay. You're going to be using pattern blocks. I emailed you a sheet of paper called Teaching Tools 20 that you can print, and you can cut out the 30-degree pattern blocks and use them. A 30-degree pattern block looks like this. Okay, there are 6 of them. It's the 3rd row down. I put that in my instructions, and you should be able to cut them out. If you can't, just follow along. I think you'll still be fine. If you can't, you could just watch my video, but I think it's helpful if you have them. And also, if you have one of the workbooks or textbooks, you could actually put those pattern blocks in the angles, and you can figure it out that way. Okay, so this says the smaller angles on a tan pattern block, which is this, shown each measure 30 degrees. So if you look at the smaller angles, this is not a smaller angle, that's obtuse. That's a smaller angle. So right here, that's acute. So that's a smaller angle. That's 30 degrees right there. How can you use the angles on the pattern block to determine the measure of the angle below? Solve the problem any way you choose. Okay, so each of these pattern blocks is 30 degrees. That's what you have to know. So 4 of them can fit into this angle. So I wrote, watch me do it. So it's a little tricky to do, so I actually did it already. I don't want to waste the time on the video. I cut out 4 pattern blocks. These are the same ones that you have. I cut them out and I put them, if you notice, it's the same sheet of paper. There's the angle. This is the same sheet of paper. I had an extra one. So there's the angle. I put in with the point facing right to the angle. See the 4 points? 4 pattern blocks can fit into this angle. See, that's what it was before I put in the pattern blocks. So 30, 30, 30, 30. That's 120. So I know the 4 pattern blocks can fit in that, and that's 120. And I'm sure you can see this is obtuse. It's bigger than a right angle. So 120 makes sense. If this line was maybe a little bit more this way, like that would be 150 because you could fit another 30 in. And if it was a straight line, that would be 180. You'd actually be able to fit 6 pattern blocks in. And those of you who have cut them out, if you draw a straight line, you should be able to fit 6 pattern blocks into a straight line. Okay. So this is a trapezoid, which you'll learn about soon. Okay, it has parallel sides. Okay, and as you can see, this is an acute angle. So the question really is, because they want you to use pattern blocks, and they're all 30 degrees. So the question is this 30 degrees, that angle, or is it 60 degrees? It can't be 90 degrees, because 90 degrees would be a right angle. This is obviously not a right angle. So the only 2 possible answers in this particular lesson, because if they want you to use pattern blocks, is 30 or 60. And as you can see, I guess I'll grab one of these. It's really thin, it's hard to grab, okay? Hold on a second. Okay. If I grab one of these, you can see it won't fit. I would need a second one, okay? So if you look down here, they actually did it for you. So if I put 2 of my pattern blocks in here, it would fit perfectly, so that would be 60 degrees. Okay, so that's how you could use pattern blocks to figure out the answer. Okay, let's go to the lesson itself. How many 30-degree angles are in a 180-degree angle? So I just talked about that, actually. That's a straight line. That's a straight angle. So 180 degrees, each 30-degree angle, you can divide, you would get 6. And if you used 6 of these pattern blocks and you put them all with the corner, with the angle facing right there, the 30-degree angle facing right there, it would kind of look like a sort of like a peacock with the feathers. Okay, it would fit perfectly. And those of you who have the workbook can try that, and you'll see what I mean. So you could use 6 30-degree pattern blocks, or if you think about it, 2 right angles, because right angles are 90 degrees, right? So it's 90 plus 90 will give you 180. Okay, so that's what a straight angle is. It's two right angles. Okay, number two. How many 15-degree angles are in a 180-degree angle? Now, this is a little bit of a tricky question. If that was the only question, how many 15-degree angles are in a 180-degree angle, you could just do 180 divided by 15, and the answer would be 12, which is what the answer is. But they want you to use your answer to exercise 1 to explain. So be a little bit tricky and try and follow me, and you can rewind this if you're not sure, if you don't understand what I'm saying. There are 6 of the pattern blocks, 30-degree pattern blocks in 180 degrees. They want to know how many 15-degree angles there are. Well, since there are two 15s in 30, right? Isn't 15 plus 15 30? So there are two 15s in 30. So since two 15-degree angles make up 30 degrees, and there are 6 30-degree angles in 180, you would do 2 times 6, and that would get you 12. There would be 12 15-degree angles. Okay? All right, on to the next problem. So it said, remember, this lesson is to use previous knowledge. So use angles that you know to find the measure of each angle. Explain how the angles in the square can help. This is a square. As you can tell, this is a right angle. This is a perfect right angle right there. They cut it in half. So the only angle they're asking you about is this. As you can see, they drew a diagonal right there. So they're cutting the 90-degree angle in half. And they're asking you about this angle right there. So since I know a right angle is 90 degrees, so since this is half of a right angle, you guys remember, if you want to find half of a number, you divide by 2. So 90 divided by 2 is 45. So that angle would be 45. So in general, guys, a 90-degree angle has two 45-degree angles is the same as a 90-degree angle. So here, as you can see, this angle, there's the 2 squares put together, and they're asking you about this angle, which is obviously bigger than a right angle, okay? Well, guess what? I know that this is 90 right there. I know that right there is 90. And this angle right here is half of 90, right? That's another 45 right there. So I'm going to take the 90, which is this angle right there, plus 45. That would get me, I'm going to maybe draw it just to make it a little bit easier for you here. This is 90. This right here is 45. So if you added this plus this, that would be 135. And that's what I explain here. Okay, there is one right angle, which is this, plus half of the other right angle, which is this. 90 divided by 2 is 45. So if you add them together, you get 135. Guys, look, this is a right angle right here. But this is also a right angle. Remember I told you a perfect L, it could be facing the other way or upside down. These are 2 right angles. Okay, next. Find the measure of each angle. Use pattern blocks to help. Okay, so those of you who have pattern blocks, you could use pattern blocks if it helps you. But it is a little bit obvious. If you don't have the pattern blocks, you don't need to use it. But I'm going to use it just for this first problem. As you can see, that's a pretty big angle. It's less than 90 degrees. We know that for sure because 90 degrees is a right angle. I'm going to try this. Not going to be easy. Okay. This is not perfect. I need to move it a little bit. Okay. As you can see, again, it's not 100% perfect, but it's pretty close. 2 30-degree pattern blocks fit into that angle. That is 60 degrees. Okay, I'm going to move this. If this line was closer like this, that would be 30 degrees. If it was straight up, it would be 90 degrees. Okay. This is a right angle. I'm going to turn it just so you can see. 90 degrees, right? Right angle. It's a perfect L. Sometimes you need to turn it to see. That's 90 degrees. This one, this is a little baby one. That, as you can see, it's a very tiny angle. I told you, all the angles in this lesson are going to be 30, 60, 90, 120, 150. You can see the pattern block fits perfectly there. That's one of them, is 30. This is 120. Again, it might be hard to see, so sometimes it helps to turn the paper. You can see that this is an obtuse angle. As you can see, this is bigger than a right angle. And it's just a little bit bigger than a right angle. So it's 120. 4 pattern blocks can fit in there. This is a straight line. As we talked about earlier, 6 pattern blocks can fit in there, which would be 180. That's a straight angle. This is, again, this is an acute angle, guys. It's just facing the other way. It's facing to the left. Look how small that angle is. That's 30 degrees going like this. This is 30 degrees going like that. They're both 30 degrees. As you can see, these are the exact same angles. One pattern block would fit in it. It's just facing the other way. Okay. This right here, again, is a right angle. You'd have to turn the page a little bit. You can see that's a right angle. Plus, they give you the square there. Whenever you see a square, that's a right angle. Okay. If it's not a right angle, they draw like a little circle. See, that's an angle. That's an angle. It's like a little half circle. That's the symbol for an angle. This is 180 degrees. Straight, I think I actually already did that. And that's 30. Okay. Let's go on to more problems. Okay. So what is the measure of the angle of the yellow hexagon pattern block? Actually, those of you who printed out the pattern blocks, there is a hexagon pattern block. A hexagon means there's 6 sides. That's what a hexagon is. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 sides in that figure. If you notice, it's bigger than a right angle. That's obtuse. It's not a lot bigger. It's a little bit bigger. That would be 4 pattern blocks, which is 120. If it was 150, this line would probably be more like this. Maybe I'll just draw it, make it a little bit easier for you guys. This would have probably been 150. If that was the angle, that would probably be another 30, so it would be 150 altogether, okay? So I wrote, it's obtuse. We know it's obtuse, so we know the angle is between 91 and 179 degrees. Only one angle pattern block that is 30 degrees is the same as the hexagon pattern block, okay? So one of these pattern blocks, so if you look, 4 30 blocks can fit into that angle, okay? So you have to fit four pattern blocks that are 30 degrees are the same as this yellow one. Okay, this is similar to what we did in 15-2, so this should not be unfamiliar to you. What is the measure of the smaller angle formed by the clock hands when it is at 5 o'clock? So there's the angle right there. As you can see, I'm going to turn it. It's obtuse, and you can fit 5 pattern blocks in there. That would be 30 degrees times 5 would be 150, okay? But I also taught you yesterday that a clock has 12 equal parts. Each equal part would be 30. So 30, 60, 90, 120, 150, okay? So the answer is 150 is an obtuse angle, okay? Let's go to this problem. How many 30-degree angles are in a circle? Write and solve a multiplication equation to explain. Well, I just told you there are 12 equal parts. Each one is 30. 12 times 30 is 360. So there are 12 30-degree angles in a circle. Okay, let's go down to this. This could be a little tricky. So I'm going to show you this picture here. This picture is divided into 8 equal parts. Kind of looks like a pizza pie, right? Divided into 8 equal parts. Before creating their own dollar, American colonists used a circular coin called an 8 reals. That could be divided into 8 equal pieces. Select all of the true statements about the pieces of the 8 reals. Okay, so we're going to try and figure out whether these are true. Each piece has an angle measure of 60. Well, how could that be? There are 8 equal pieces. If you do 60 times 8, that's 480, not 360, so that can't be true. 3 pieces have a total angle measure of 135. Well, they want to know, so 3 pieces. Well, we never actually figured out how much one piece was. So if we do 360, which is the circle, divided by 8 equal pieces, each of these pieces is 45. And they're saying, do 3 pieces total 135? Yes, 45 times 3 is 135. 5 pieces turn through 225 1-degree angles, which of course is 225. Well, the answer to that is yes. Each one of these is 45. Okay, 5 of them, which is what this says, you multiply, is 225, so that's true. Over here, 3 30-degree angles, which 3 times 30 is 90, can fit into 2 pieces of 8 reals. Okay, well, let's see. 2 pieces of 2 times, sorry, looks like I made a mistake here. Hold on. 45, sorry. 2 times 45, so each piece is 45. 2 times 45 is 90, right? So 2 pieces is the same as 3 30-degree angles, because 3 30-degree angles is 90. So 2 of these pieces is 90, 3 30-degree angles is 90, so that would be true. Half of an 8 reals, or half of one of these, this is an 8 reel. Each one of these is called an 8 reel. So half of an 8 reels has an angle measure of 90. Okay? Well, actually, hold on one second. An 8 reels, they must be talking about the whole thing. I'm sorry. Let me just change that. Just realized I made a little mistake here. Sorry about that, guys. That happens. Guess you could say I'm human. Okay. So half of an 8 reels, I thought they were talking about one piece. They're talking about this whole thing is called an 8 reels. Half of this, so 360 divided by 2 is 180. Okay? They say that that's 90. So the answer is no. Half of an 8 reels has an angle measure of 90. No. Half of an 8 reels is 180, not 90. So the answer is no. Okay. Hope this helps, guys. Sorry for another long video, but this is important stuff, and it's not that easy to teach on the video, so I had to use the pattern blocks, and hopefully that helped you. Good luck. Bye.